Okay, quick video on the hilltop event, who you should collect, what you should be prioritizing, how many cans should you go all in at the start. So there's give or take about 8 days, 9 days. Now you do gain these ruins, I don't know what you call them, from just normal raiding after the raid event. But during the raid event, your drops are doubled, so obviously it makes sense to go in, um, you know, more in when there's a raid event. So just to clarify, I've currently got 100,000 points in raid tournament. I went very hard straight off the bat just because I wanted to get my key essentials in. So here's what I suggest everyone does. So the way I look at it is, you got a Sophia, you got a Jesus, and then you got little bits of fodder down here. So obviously the armory tokens. Everyone is going to be suffering from armory tokens. Consider most of these, mythic characters have shit basis weapons, so obviously you want to trade them off fairly fast. So, first thing I suggest you do with your ruins is get the armory tokens. You get 150,000. That's enough to swap off 3 weapons for team player weapons, which you should already have as non-bound weapons. So that's what you should do first. Now, when it comes to Jesus, Sophia, and the silver tokens, it gets pretty fucking pricey. So I think give or take, I think the silver tokens non-survivors club was give or take around about 175,000 ruins, and obviously the survivors club, I think that was roughly about 30,000, 40,000. So just that alone, if you just get the normal silver tokens, not including survivors club and the armor tokens, give or take, that's going to be about, maybe 200,000. What do you call it? 2,000. 200,000 of these ruins. Now, when you could get the silver tokens or a fully leveled Jesus or Sophia. Well, the Sophia you need 1, since you should have another. But for Jesus, obviously you need 2. Here's where my little issue comes in. I say always go for the silver tokens. Now here's why. Jesus and Sophia aren't necessarily god tier. They're just, at the start of the Mythic era, these tunes are here. Whereas you've already got a Wayland that does arguably way better stuff. So, just going over Jesus' kit real quick. Do 2 attacks, 200% damage to 1 enemy. 2 other enemies get disarmed for 2 turns. Now that seems pretty good, alright? Seems pretty good. He's yellow. Pretty good. He does have an absolute defense weapon with 25% crit. No, 25 crit. But here's my thing. Yellows, that's made for defense. But you would not be using them on defense, I fucking guarantee you. So this weapon is already pretty shit, in my opinion. So just looking on his active skill. Now this is really poor. His active skill is really, really poor in my opinion. So up to 2 teammates get focused for 2 turns. That's 2 teammates. Do you know who does focus for everyone? Negan. Negan Lee just does that for everyone. So automatically this ain't too great. All this here isn't too great, ain't too bad. And then you give Sophia 355 damage to 1 enemy. That's pretty meh. And then that enemy gets stunned for 2 turns. So it's literally just one target. And then the thing here, attack an enemy for 100% damage. That enemy gets impaired for 2 turns. Yet again, it's just to 1 person. So I've got to say, both these characters are very underwhelming in my opinion. Now, here's where it comes into the silver tokens thing. I would always say give silver tokens, and this is a pure basis why. See, now these, like I said before, these characters are released at the start of the Mythic era and tend to be rather mediocre, meh at best. Whereas if you would pull from the the golden wheel, which we should be able to get another pull from in about 2-3 days. You could pull an Andrew, you could pull a princess, you could pull, something that is actually, at the moment really, really good. Like a really good attacking tune, a really good defensive tune, but you wouldn't be able to level them up because of the silver tokens, shortage. Whereas if you were to just get 2 of these characters and get a 5-star, it's like great, but they're kind of shit for what they do. Now, here's what I suggest. Instead of getting, going all in on fucking, whatever you call it, Jesus, as a disarm, there's already a better disarm in the game. Now, hear me out on this. Wayland. Wayland is so much better in so many ways. Now, yes, Jesus can hold a 20% weapon. Yes, Jesus can hold an 8% weapon. But, his base is already got an absolute defense. And he costs 200,000 ruins, which is the equivalent to about 30 of those, it's give or take about 150,000 army tokens. And about 30 of those silver tokens, give or take if you're a Survivors Club member. Now, let's look at Wayland. Do 2 attacks of 200% damage to one enemy. Two teammates get 50% disarm resistance, which is a little bit of a downside to Jesus, because Jesus actually disarms two other enemies, while your team gets disarm resist, which obviously isn't that great. But here's the little added bonus: Wayland, when he rushes, gives two teammates 20% AP, which is fucking fantastic. If you've not had his rush go, oh my god, it's great. Now, also, his active skill, way better. So, attack an enemy for 120% damage, one other enemy gets disarmed for 2 turns. That's already better. It does damage. Not two enemies, two teammates get focused. It's pretty shit. And then Wayland's abilities actually make sense. So you get crit. Obviously, he's a disarm. 2 sets of crit, you can go 10 on 10, so that's 20, or you can get a maximum of 40. So you don't even need a team player weapon on him. You could have a strong attack weapon on him, because that crit he's going to have will make up for it, so he always crits. Also, I love my job. When performing the Disarming Specialist, heal this character with 10% of the max HP. Kinda makes sense. Weapons equipped to this character are 15% more likely to trigger their effects, meaning stun swords, more likely to activate. Yes, he does have a bound weapon, which is stinky shit, but you would swap that. But here's what I'm saying. He's green. You can have strong attacks. Strong attacks with every green gains 10% extra, whatever you call it, attack. Now, another thing, just taking the equation here. You've got to remember, Wayland is fairly free to play. So I'm pretty sure you can get the first one for free, and the second one will be from depot. 200,000 supply depot points is a lot easier to come by instead of these ruins up here. Now, just straight away, I'll go back to this one more time, and this is the final time. Armory tokens. First party out of anything. They are going to be the most valuable ship. Now, Brady's are great, don't get me wrong. But you will be able to get them down the road just by doing your training grounds. So we'll leave them for now. Now, when it comes to silver chance tokens, you need them to tier up your characters to grade 5. Like, it's good having 2 Jesuses, but you still need the silver fodder to get him to tier 5. So, always go for it. Armory tokens first, silver tokens next. And if you want to disarm that badly, don't go for Jesus, go for Wayland. Now, as for Sophia, she's a control character. Okay, that's fine. We'll go into control characters now. Let's see, where's control? Control, that's control. So, as for control, there's a few characters here that we can go for. Personally, if you want a control character, there's only one character I would consider going for control. Now, I don't necessarily think control is great. Don't get me wrong, I don't think it's great at the moment. I think they're pretty shit. But the only one I would go for is Yumiko. And the reason for that is team player around her, and the fact she's got an impair weapon, and the fact she's got confounding. So, Yumiko, you know, little harder to come by, but not completely unobtainable. Now, you know, Sophia is just very, very mediocre. She's just very one-sided. So, I would suggest, if you really want control on your team, so, considering she's got neutralized, I'll just take a Kellyan. Now, you're probably wondering, Dan, why would I take a Kellyan for control? Well, if your character was to take such a big hit, Kelly would take it for them. That's better control than the neutralized and this shit here. Kelly can also taunt. Kelly can hold, you know, an absolute defense weapon. He can tank loads of hits to your team. Just seems a better option to me. So, give or take, if you wanted purely, I would go with it. Purely to get 2 Jesus or 2, well, for the sake of the video, I'll just say 2 Sophias as well. Give or take, that's going to be around 60,000 raid points, I think, and that's with fairly shitty drops. So give or take, you're going to need around 60,000 points in a raid tournament, because that's where you get double drops. But if you wanted to go for, you know, silver tokens, army tokens, and a Jesus or Sophia, like I've done myself, you would need 100,000, because I'm on 100,000 points myself. So I've claimed my army tokens, I've claimed my silver tokens, which I do heavily recommend everyone goes for the army tokens and silver tokens first. I can now grab a Sophia or a Jesus. Now, I could grab one Sophia and get a grade 5 Sophia, but personally, I don't like Sophia. I don't think she brings as much to the team as someone else does. Now, granted, the neutralize can be great, don't get me wrong. I just think there's better characters out there to finish raids faster. And for Jesus, you know, Wayland does a way better job, in my opinion. So what I'm going to be doing with my 100,000 ruins, whatever, is I'm going to pick up 1 Jesus. Now, you're probably wondering, why am I picking up 1 Jesus? And I think this is where it's going to stay, if I'm being honest. I might grab one other 5-star if the raid tournaments, if I have to put up enough raid tournament points. But here's my reason for getting Jesus. I don't see myself leveling up Sophia past grade 4, and I don't have a Jesus. So, in case down the road I need a Jesus or there's something special with a Jesus, I have a Jesus now. I don't recommend tier 5 in him. I don't recommend tier 5 even Sophia. I just don't think they're, as good as the other characters in the game, like Sandy, Tyrese, Andrea, Princess. All those are meta attacking toons. They just do such great work compared to these two, which are very, very average. So, final conclusion, it's going to take about 60,000 points to get 200,000 of these ruins on average, or, around about 1,000 odd raids, I think someone said. And with that, it's either 200,000 tokens on average to get all the armory tokens and the silver tokens, or you can get 200,000 tokens and use on 2 of these characters. So it's completely up to you, but my personal opinion, armory tokens and silver tokens. And if you really, really want to go for a Jesus or a Sophia, then go for it, as, silver tokens are always going to be useful to level up whatever characters you have down the road, whereas you're stuck to a Jesus or a Sophia otherwise. So I hope this, helped out a few people decide on what they should do. Hope this, guided people on how much points they need to get to unlock the silver tokens or the Jesus or the Sophia. And yeah, peace out, boys. Like, comment, subscribe. Discord, link in the description. And should be the next video is Ivanova. So yeah, peace out, boys.